What if I told you that one of the greatest admirals in Byzantine history wasn't Greek, wasn't born noble, and wasn't even loyal to the empire at first? What if I told you this man started as a humiliated exile, a disgraced knight, and ended up commanding the entire Byzantine fleet, crushing his enemies, and dragging their nobles in chains before the Emperor of Constantinople? This is not a legend. This is not a novel. This is history. And today on Historical Facts channel, we're diving into the incredible true story of Licario of Verona, a man driven by ambition, revenge, and raw brilliance who reshaped the balance of power in the Aegean Sea. Before we begin, if you love forgotten empires, ruthless medieval politics, and true stories that sound fictional, make sure you subscribe to Historical Facts channel and hit the like button. It helps this channel survive the YouTube algorithm battlefield. Now, let's go back into a world still burning for betrayal. To understand Licario, we first need to understand the wreckage of the Byzantine world. The year is 1204. Constantinople, the greatest city of Christendom, is betrayed, looted, and occupied by Western Crusaders during the Fourth Crusade. Instead of fighting Muslims in the Holy Land, the Crusaders sack a Christian empire. The Byzantine Empire shatters. What replaces it is chaos. Across the Aegean Sea, islands are carved up like meat on a butcher's table. Latin nobles, Venetians, Lombards, Franks declare themselves dukes, barons, and lords, often with little legitimacy beyond whoever had the bigger sword. This is the birth of the Latin Aegean, and now, nowhere is this chaos clearer than in the island of Evia. Called Negroponte by the Latins, was one of the most strategically valuable islands in the Aegean. It sat astride major trade routes and controlled naval access between mainland Greece and the islands. And it was rich, but it was also politically fractured. Power was divided among Lombard lords, Venetian interests, feuding barons, and mercenary knights. Alliances shifted constantly. Betrayals were routine. It was a perfect place for an ambitious outsider to rise. Enter Licario of Verona. Licario was not born powerful. He came from humble origins in northern Italy, likely near Verona. No ancient bloodline, no legendary ancestors, just ambition. Like many landless knights of his era, Licario traveled east, seeking fortune in the fragmented Greek world. He entered the service of the Lombard rulers of Evia as a knight, and at first he succeeded. Licario proved himself capable, intelligent, and fearless. He learned the island, its roads, its fortresses, its weaknesses, but then everything fell apart. Licario fell in love, not with just any woman, but with the sister of a powerful Lombard lord. This was unacceptable. What followed was not just rejection, but humiliation. Licario was disgraced, publicly shamed, stripped of favor, cast out. And if there is one thing history teaches us, it's this. Licario did not forget. He did not forgive. He fled to Caristos, on the southern edge of Evia, and there he began to plan his revenge. In Caristos, Licario became something new. Not a knight, not a noble, but an adventurer. He gathered a small band of fighters, mercenaries, exiles, pirates, and desperate men. With them he launched raids against the very lords who had disgraced him. Fast, precise, brutal, Licario knew Evia better than his rulers ever would. He struck where they were weak, disappeared before retaliation could come. Soon his name spread, and his reputation crossed the Aegean, reaching the ears of one man who desperately needed him. That man was Michael VIII Palaiologos. In 1261, Michael achieved the impossible. He recaptured Constantinople from the Latins. But victory came with a problem. The empire was back but fragile. The Aegean islands were still controlled by Latin lords. Venetian fleets dominated the sea. Byzantium lacked naval supremacy. Michael VIII was pragmatic to the point of ruthlessness. He would ally with anyone to restore the empire. So when Licario arrived in Constantinople, a man who knew Evia intimately, hated the Latins passionately, and wanted revenge, Michael saw an opportunity. Licario was welcomed, honored, and appointed commander of a division of the Byzantine fleet, an exiled Italian knight, now sailing under the Byzantine banner. Between 1272 and 1273, Licario unleashed devastation. With only a small fleet, he achieved that larger forces had failed to do. One by one, he shattered Latin control. He reconquered nearly all of Evia except the heavily fortified city of Halkis. Island after island fell. Skopelos, Skiros, Skiathos, Amorgos, Kythira and Antikythira, Kea, Asipalia, Santorini, Limnos. Licario just didn't fight battles, he controlled the sea. For his victories, Michael VIII rewarded him lavishly. Licario became Grand Constable, Commander of Latin mercenaries, Magus Do, Grand Admiral of the Byzantine Navy, and he was even married into the Byzantine aristocracy. The disgraced knight had become one of the most powerful men in the empire. In 1279, Licario returned to Evia for one final reckoning. At the Battle of Atanda, he crushed the Lombard forces. Many of the same nobles who had once humiliated him were now captured alive, dragged in chains. Though Halki still resisted, Licario controlled the island. Soon after, he liberated Sifnos and Serifos, revenge complete. In 1280, Licario returned to Constantinople. He led his enemies in chains before the Emperor Michael VIII. According to chroniclers, one of the captured nobles collapsed and died upon seeing Licario laughing and joking with the emperor. And then, Licario vanishes from history. No execution, no disgrace, no recorded battle death. Most likely, he died peacefully, a rare ending. Licario of Verona was not born great. He became great, through humiliation, through ambition, through brilliance and revenge. He reminds us that history is not only shaped by emperors, but by outsiders who seize their moment. If you enjoyed this deep dive into one of history's most underrated figures, subscribe to Historical Facts channel, like the video, and share it with someone who loves epic true stories. More forgotten legends are coming soon. And remember, history is far stranger than fiction.